Welcome back, Mavericks. Just got back from a bike adventure in France. First time in 3 years. Freaking love it. You saw climbing Alpe d'Huez last week. Now let's talk about the massive, epic failure of a bike bag on that trip. It's not the first time I've discussed this and ranted about bike bag issues. And I'm going to talk about why it's important that these bags aren't designed well for international travel. So let's get to it. As we get into this, please hit like and subscribe if you like the content. We're putting out new stuff all the time, more than once a week now, and love to have you along on board. And consider becoming a Patreon, help us out with the channel. It allows us to curate things and keep our bike love going worldwide. So this is my SCHWAG bag, and in general, I love its construction. It's very sturdy and protects the bike decently, even though airlines will throw them around like they're rag dolls. And yes, in soft side bags, you'll always be adjusting your hoods because they'll get thrown around willy-nilly by airlines. But in general, this is a pretty good case. Now, there's lots of things online from folks who complain about this bag and say that their derailleurs are broken off because it isn't hard enough to protect the bike. I haven't had that problem. My problem is this. This right here. And these right here. So I've talked before about the problems with these SCHWAG bags being the wheels. And guess what happened again on this trip? 2 wheels fell off. And if you remember from my last episode that I talked about bike bags, I had to replace the wheels because the original casters got shredded when I went on French cobbles and rolled this bike to a train station or two while traveling with my bicycle. Guess what, folks? That's what you do with it. Who didn't think that through? Who didn't test the wheels in a real world environment, first of all? Secondly, they're so damn small that what happens is the bag drags itself along the ground. This is the other problem. The damn thing crabs. So it just works perfectly in a crowded city square or airport when you're trying not to bump the crap out of everybody else. It's just not the right design. The wheel construction is a bad choice. They're just too damn small. And let's talk about where they're worst. Outside the cobbles, where they're worst is up the stairs of French Airbnbs and apartment buildings that don't have an elevator. Guess what, folks? Most French train stations don't have elevators, let alone the apartment buildings that are, in the case of the last one we stayed in, 500 years old. The stairs were built in the 1400s. So they're not new, and there's no elevator. We need larger wheels that can make the rise of a set of stairs. And they can be detachable and thrown in a bag. That's not a problem, but no one makes them. Look at some of these examples. So let's now go over the 3 things that are most important to consider when you're traveling and the 3 things you need to consider about the bag you choose to travel with. Number 1, cobblestones and poorly maintained roads. Let's face it, folks, you're going to be dragging your bag down these streets and over these cobblestones. See, the problem with French roads is this, and this, and this. You need a bag that can endure the pain over and over again, especially at the price you're paying. Number 2, stairs. Most of the places you're going to go in old Europe, whether it's France or Italy, don't have elevators. You're going to have to drag that bag up and down stairs with a bike in it or without a bike in it, depending on if your bike's out and you're riding. This informs both the choice of bike bag you take, whether it's hard or soft, and the weight involved with it, as well as the wheels. Lastly, trains. Trains in France in particular do not accommodate for bicycles. So there may be a time, like happened to us, where you have to drag your bag up to the second level of a train because the conductor won't let you leave it on the first because it's a hazard for evacuating the train. None of the luggage areas are made for bicycle space. They're only for small bags. So you got to make things work. Bike bag considerations. First, you want to decide if you want a hard side or a soft side. Mostly that comes down to protection and weight. Weight, because you got to drag it up and down those stairs, on and off those trains with no assistance, up and down those trains, you name it, all over the place. So weight's important. But also protection. Thirdly with that is the size of the case and how much you're going to have to take off of the bike in order to put it in the bag. Again, the beauty of that SCHWAG bag, with as many problems as it has, is I just take off the wheels and that's it. 10 minutes, the bike's in the bag, ready to go, or out of the bag, ready to ride. Secondly, weight, as we just discussed. Hard sides are going to be heavier. They are going to protect more, but they're going to be heavier. And lugging things up and down stairs with no elevators and train stations and apartment buildings is no fun when you got 70 pounds of bag and bike. Lastly, the wheels of the bag. No one seems to make decent sized wheels that will allow you to take your bike bag up and down stairs easily. And that's a problem. Bike bag manufacturers, figure it out. Why doesn't anyone who builds a bike bag test that bike bag in real world conditions around the world? In, places where they might take bicycles, like, I don't know, France, host of the world's greatest bike race. Use the bags you design in real world environments, and you'll quickly figure things out. That's all we're asking for. Nice bag. Just got a lot of flaws. All right, enough ranting. Now come on. Let's ride. And don't forget to pick up your SCHWAG from this episode or any of our episodes at the Maverick Store.